All right, guys, today I'm going over the practice test that y'all took yesterday. Today we're going to do it on paper. As always, whatever I write down, I expect you to write down to get your points for this. Okay, I'm going to take your test score from yesterday and I'm going to take this worksheet and combine it to make it one grade so that if you did both things and if you didn't score well yesterday, this will make up those points. Okay, so again, I need you to write down whatever I write down, you must write down. Okay, what is the y-intercept of the graph for f of x equals 6 times 1.8 raised to the x, okay? So remember, f of x is just a fancy way of saying y. So y equals all of this, okay? What do we know about this? We know that 6 is A, 0.18 is B, okay? And then if we had a C, it would be at the end, okay? Since we don't have a C, I'm going to put plus 0, and that's our C. So A, B, and C. Now there's two ways of finding the y-intercept. What I want you guys to do is to take the equation, okay? Plug all of this into y equals, okay? Because again, this is y equals 6 times 1.8 raised to the x, okay? So let's do that first. Okay, so go to y equals, okay, type in, I'm gonna zoom in so you guys can kind of see. Okay, it was 6 times 1.8 raised to the x. Okay, and again, since there's not a c, you don't have to put the plus 0 in, just type what you see. Second table will get us our table. Now remember, our y-intercept, what did I do wrong? I think I forgot to put enter. Okay, I'll try it. Second table, okay, there you go. Okay, so our y-intercept is when x is 0, what is y? So again, yours should already be at 0. So when x is 0, what is y? Okay, in this case, when x was 0, y was 6. It was our a value. So you could put a plus sign here and then put 6 wherever you want. You can put it here, you can put it here. It's already on mark, I'll put it there. Any one of these boxes, you could have put the 6. Again, if you don't want to do it that way, another way to find your y-intercept is 0 and then a plus c. So that would equal 0, a is 6, c was plus 0, so plus 0. So our final answer would be 0. 6 plus 0 is 6. Okay, they don't want you to write this as an ordered pair on your test. Again, they do not want you to write this as an ordered pair on your test. What they want you to do for the y-intercept is they want you to write what is the y value. Where does it cross the y-axis? It crossed the y-axis at 6. So again, on your test, don't put in parentheses, don't put 0, comma, nothing like that. Just the y value that you wrote right here. So again, what I did is I took 6 parentheses 1.8 raised to the x, typed it into y equals, went to the table, which was second graph, and I looked when x was 0, what was y? And y was 6. And again, I did positive and then put 6 in any box you like. All right, let's move on to the next one. The equation A equals 130 times 1.05 raised to the t represents the balance of a bank account t years after opening, okay? The initial amount of the bank account was one of these three things. It says circle. The amount of money in the account is increasing or decreasing at a rate of what percent? Okay, so let's see what we know. Okay, we know that A equals our starting amount. Where did we start with? What is the number outside of the parentheses? That is A. So we know A is 130. So we're starting with $130. Okay. Now, what is B? B is the number inside the parentheses. Okay. So that's 1.05. Okay, what you should know about B is that is 1 plus or minus R, which is your rate as a decimal. So remember, I always told you guys we have $1 and we are either adding money to it or subtracting money to it. And in this case, we added money to it. What do we add this time? We added 0.05, okay? When you add, that is an increase. So we increased, and we increased this decimal as a percent. So in class a bunch of times, I said, think of this 5 pennies, and 5 pennies would be 5%. If you don't know, you can always take 0.05, and if you look on the poster, if you're going from decimals to percents, you times it by 100. If you times this by 100, you would get 5. So that would be 5%. Okay, so again, A is the number on the outside. B is either 1 plus or 1 minus the rate as a decimal. Okay, so I said it was 1 plus because we added 5 cents or 5% to our dollar. Okay. And again, if you don't know what to do with the 0.505, times it by 100 to get 5%. Okay, next one. Okay, make sure it's all in there. There we go. Okay, a graph of A equals 130 times 1.05 raised to the T represents the balance of a bank account T years after opening it. Its graph is shown below. So here's the graph. Then it says, what will the balance in the account be after 19 years? Okay, years, that is your X value. That is a form of time. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Okay, so remember, years is time, which is X. Okay, so years. Okay, well, we're going by 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. 19 is not on there. So what else can we do? We want to find the balance, which is our Y value. So we want to figure out what's our Y value when our X value, okay, is 19. Where can we plug that in? Well, we can take this. Remember, this is just Y equals, and you can plug all of this into your calculator, okay? You are going to change the T to the letter X because all T is representing is time, and time is always the X-axis. So in my calculator, okay, I'm going to type all of this in. Okay, so let's go to Y equals, and we type it in, 130, 1.05 raised to the X. Again, do not put a T here, put an X there. Hit second graph and go down to 19 because again, it told us when X is 19, what is Y? So when our time is always X, is 19, what is Y, okay? So as you can see, I've already scrolled down to 19, okay? 19 is right here, and it says 328.50, okay? Since it doesn't tell us to round to the whole number or anything like that, we're just going to keep exactly what it says. And it says 328.50. So although mine has a kind of a dot or a shade on that one, this is your answer choice. A lot of mine will have this weird thing right here, okay? Don't look at that. Look at what the answer choice I pick. So again, you look for when your years, your X is 19. What is your balance? That's your object. X is time, Y is your object. Okay, go on to the next one. Okay, before you even start these problems on your test, you know what to do with the table. What I want you to do is to go through these, and I would like you to cross out any one that's like Y equals MX plus B. So like this one, Y equals MX plus B. We are not doing linear problems. We need exponential. We need the X up here in the exponent, this whole unit. X should not be down here in the equation. It should always be the thing in the power, okay? Okay, also, we're never going to use the 1 plus 2 in this, so we're going to cross that out. So it has to be one of these three. Okay, again, ignore this shaded box. It's not the correct answer. So what do you do with a table? So with a table, we should go to Stat Edit. So again, if your table is already filled out for you, it's 100% full, I want you to go in and type the whole thing. Not part of it, the whole thing. So I will zoom out a little so you guys can see. Okay, so our first number, Stat Edit is 0, 1, 2, 3. I typed the whole thing. That's gonna be 5 seconds to do. 100, 200, 400, 800, okay? Again, type in the whole thing. It takes you no time. Just type in exactly what you see from both. Then you go Stat, go over to Calc. Do not hit 4. I have told you guys this. If you look above the board, there is a huge poster that says Stat Calc 0. Stat Calc 0, not for this unit, 0. Okay, mine looks a little different than yours, but it will give you an A and it will give you a B. What happened on mine? I must have hit something wrong. Oh, I did, right there. It should have been 400. Let's try that again. So again, 100, 200, 400, 800. So if it doesn't match, go back and check. So Stat, again, Stat Calc 0. Stat Calc 0 says A is 100, B is 2. So remember, it says A is 100, B equals 2. So that'd be Y equals, A goes on the outside of the parenthesis, B goes on the inside. B is already done for you. A lot of people want to pick 1 plus 2. That is not correct. If B is done for you from a table, you just pick the one with A and B that matches, which in this case was this one. Don't do 1 plus. It's not, this doesn't say R here, this says B, and B is 1 plus R. Okay? So B was already done for us from a table. So just whatever B is, plug it in right there. Okay. Let's go on to the next one. Number 5. A culture initially contains 60 bacteria. The number of bacteria doubles each hour. Write a formula for the number of bacteria N after T hours, okay? So remember, this is our X value, okay? So that's our time. Okay, N, look at N equals on all of these, so that's our Y equals. So all we need in our equation is Y equals A times B raised to the X. Remember, in word problems, there is never going to be a C. Okay, so again, we know that Y is N, so N equals A. A is what we started with. What do we start with in this case? We started with 60. So if you see the word initially, whatever comes after that is our A. So 60. Our B, what are we changing by? Okay, this is another thing where I'm going to see a lot of errors. It says doubles, okay? If it says doubles, quadruples, triples, whatever number this represents, that's what goes in B, okay? So how would you say doubles? Doubles is multiplied by 2. So we are doubling every T hours, okay? Remember, T is what we're going to raise to our power 2. It's our time. So you're either going to have an X here or a T here for time, okay? This problem is 100% wrong because the T is not an exponent. Cross it out. This one, you should never have a 1 plus 2, okay? So it's either this guy or this guy. And again, A is what we start with, B is what we're changing by. So it's going to be this one, okay? We started off with 60. We are doubling every hour or whatever it says. Doubles every hour, yeah. So you put a 2 here, okay? If it said triples, you put a 3, quadruples is 4. And then we're raising to the time because remember, X is our measurement of time. Okay. This part, okay, on your test, what you're going to do is you are going to click exponential. Got it? And then you're going to do 2 points, okay, when you graph it. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to type your equation, all of this, not that, but all of this into y equals. Okay, y equals. Okay, what is the equation? Let me scoot it over. Okay. Okay, so y equals 3 parentheses. Oh. Y equals 3 parentheses. Okay, let me zoom in a little so you can see my thing. And then it says 1/2. So alpha y equals 1/2. Okay, raised to the x. Let me make sure this works. Okay, then you hit enter and then you hit second graph. Okay, go up to 0. Okay, this point, 0 and whatever that is, that must be your first point no matter what. So you must graph. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit. Your first point you are going to graph is your y-intercept every time. So in this case, our y-intercept is at 0, 3. So at 0, 3, you make a point. Got it? Okay, then you will look for another whole number point, okay? So again, let's look. We have all of these points. Is 1, 1.5 a nice number to graph? No. Is 2 and 7.75? No. 3.375? No. None of these as I go on are nice to graph. So if none of the positive numbers are nice to graph, go back to the -1 and see if it's nice to graph. And it is. -1, 6 would be very easy to graph. Okay? So I'm also going to graph -1, 6. Okay, so pick 2 points. One has to be the y-intercept every single time. The next point you're going to graph is wherever the next whole number is, whether it's on the negative x numbers or the positive x numbers. So -1, 6 is right there. Okay. Now if you hit graph, you can see the graph, what it's supposed to look like. Okay, it's supposed to look like this. Okay, so once you click 2 numbers, it will graph it for you, okay? Something along the lines of that. It will graph it for you. Your asymptote line is already going to be there. It will be like a dashed line. Do not touch that line, okay? On your test, do not touch this line. It will let you move it up and down if you want, but do not move it. All I want you to do is plug the equation into y equals, graph the y-intercept, and graph one other nice point, whether it's -1 or +1. Got it? Could be +2, it could be +3 on the x, wherever the next nice point to graph is. Okay? And then I will read it and you'll be done. Do not touch the asymptote line. Once, again, you graph the 2 points, it will be done. Don't touch anything. Number 7. Okay, let's zoom back out so we can see it all. Okay, what is the horizontal asymptote of the graph? Okay, all of this means is where would the cow change directions, okay? This must be a y equals number equation, nothing else. Not an x equals, nothing. It has to be y equals a number. So what I would do is I'd go through and cross out anything that's just not y equals a number for the asymptote. Okay, so although this is a y equals, it's not y equals a number. Is this y equals a number? No. Is this y equals a number? Yes. Is this y equals a number? No. Is this y equals a number? No. So your two options are y equals 60 and y equals 0. So I've told you guys this. The asymptote is where the cow changes directions. So here is 60 for the y. So y equals 60. Did the cow change directions at that fence? No. So it is not y equals 60. Here's y equals 0. If I drew the electric fence here for the cow, did the cow change directions or turn around when it hit this line? Yes, as you can see, he's walking, whoop, he hits this fence right here and he's like, I don't like that. And he changes direction. So at y equals 0, which is right there, and I draw the line going from left to right, that is true. He does not want to walk through the fence at y equals 0. Okay? Okay, next one. What would you do with this table? Is the table fully filled out? Yes. Okay, it is. So if the table is fully filled out, you put it into stat edit. Okay, looking at our answer choices right away. Can you have x down here at like y equals mx plus b? No, that is a linear. All of this test is exponentials. Okay, so it has to be one of these two answers. If you know anything about this unit, I have told you a million times, b has to be anything but the number 1. So this one you already know should be wrong because b cannot equal 1. But let's test it out to see and make sure it's this one right here. This is where me telling you what to do a million times will get annoying, but okay. I'm going to go on my calculator. Here we go. All right, here we are. You hit stat edit, right? You have a blank thing. X is times, so you type in all of these. Not 1, not 2, not 3, all of them, please. So 0, enter, 2, enter, 4, enter, 6, enter, 8, enter, 10, enter. Okay? Then you go to the Y's and you type them all in. Not 1, not 2, all of them. 35, 28, 23, 18, 14, 11, okay? There you go. Then you hit stat calc 0, not 4, 0. Stat calc 0. Again, mine will look a little different than yours, okay? And it says 35.557, okay? 55, okay? I did try this out. A equals 35.557, okay? 7 would make 55, round 2, 56 cents. Okay, so remember if you round to 2 decimals, you look at the third number. If it's 0 through 4, you keep this. If it's 5 through 9, you round up to the next number. So since this is 7, this would 55 would round to 56. Okay. B is equal to 0.890. Okay. So since this is between 0 and 4, we will keep this number. So 0.89. So A is this number, B is that number, so this is this. Just a reminder, B cannot be 1. If this is 1, that is not your answer ever, okay? This is a big no-no. You cannot have a 1 there. Okay. Let's start working on the next one. Using the table above, predict the amount of caffeine in the body after 5 hours. Round your answer to the nearest whole number. Okay, so hours, that is a form of time. So remember, X is time. So when our time is 5, what is the amount of caffeine? That is your Y value. So plug this equation into where? Anytime you have an equation, you will plug it into Y equals, okay? So I'm gonna move this all over so you can see. So 35.56, parentheses, 0.89 raised to the X. Okay, and again, we need a table because we need to know when X is 5, what is Y. So I hit second graph, and I go down to when X is 5, what is Y? Okay, Y is 19.856. 19.856. it says round to the nearest whole number. So that means I want no decimals. So would I round, if here's a whole number, here's 8, okay? Since this is between 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, I'm going to round this to the next whole number. You are going to round it up. So if I want to round it up, the next whole number would be 20. So I put a positive and 20 either here or here. I'm going to put it there. Again, if you put it right here in the front, that's fine. But just know, if the decimal, the first number, is between 0 or 4, you keep this number. If it's 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, you round it up. And so since this was an 8, this will round to 20. Okay. The next one, the population of a small town can be modeled by the exponential function p of t equals 18,200 times 1.06 raised to the t, where t is the number of years after 2010, okay? So, again, it's going to be a drop-down menu on your test. So what you're going to do is you're going to click the button and pick the right option. So initial population is A. What is A in this equation? Remember, this is Y, this is A, this is B, and this is X, right? So initial is A, the number outside of the parentheses. What number is outside the parentheses? 8,200. So if I was to make a table, this would be 0 and 18,200. Okay, since there's no C in this, our y-intercept is just our starting point, which is A, our initial point as they call it. Okay, is this an increase or a decrease? Okay, so what you're going to look at is your B. Your B is 1.06. So that's 1 plus or minus our rate as a decimal. Did we add to the dollar or did we subtract from the dollar if we have $1.06? Okay, so if we have $1.06, that means we added, so we increased. Okay? At a rate of 1. Or at a rate of what? Sorry. So how much did we add to our dollar? We did 1 plus 0.06. Okay, so this is what we added. This was our rate as a decimal. We need our rate as a percent. So how we do that is 0.06 times 100. It's on the wall. If you're going to go from a decimal to a percent, you multiply by 100, which is 6%. So it would be that one. Okay. But again, if you have a hard time remembering that, say how many pennies do we add to the dollar? We added 6 pennies. 6 pennies, 6%. Pennies and percent match. Okay, I think we have 2 more and then we are done. Okay, last 2. Okay. Everybody does really well on these, so just remember the tricks. How many times do we write this first parentheses? You should say 1 time. How many times do you write the second set of parentheses? 2 times. And the bottom set? 1 time. Okay? So we have 7 x squared, y squared, times. And again, you write this whole parenthesis 2 times. So 8x3, y4, times 8x3, y4, all over 4x4, y5. Okay, next, what do? You put big numbers together. So that's 7 times 8 times 8. Any big numbers on the bottom? Yes, a 4. Okay, then you write out your x's. We have 2 x's, 3 x's, 3 x's, okay? And we have 4 x's on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm gonna stretch this out. Now we're gonna do our y's. Okay, we have 2 y's, we have 4 y's, we have 4 y's. Okay, then we have 5 y's on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I'm actually going to keep with this pen. You will type this into alpha y equals, okay? So second quick, go to your home screen, okay? Do alpha y equals 7 times 8 times 8. Make your life easy, guys. Type it in exactly the way you wrote it. 4 on the bottom. And that will get you 112. Okay? So right away, we know that the first number we need is 112. So this guy's crossed out, that guy's crossed out. Then it's going to be one of this option or that option. Okay? I have 1, 2, 3, 4 x's on bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 x's on top. If I cross out 4 on the bottom and 4 on the top, I am left with 4 on the top. Okay, let's do the y's. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on top. So I'm going to cross out 5, and that'll let me cross out 5 more on top, leaving me with 5 on the top. So it would be that one right there. Okay, 112 x4 y to the 5th. Okay, this last one, EAS is a little bit different than regular. I'll do the regular way first and EAS second, okay? So you have 2x minus 4y equals negative 20, okay? The first thing you do is you're going to move x. So negative 4y equals negative 20. The opposite of 2x is negative 2x. Okay. The next step is to divide by y. Okay, so move x, divide by y. So then you get y equals, again, don't make your life harder than it needs to be. Go into your calculator, type this into alpha y equals. I have negative 20 over negative 4, which is positive 5. Okay, so 5. And then the next thing I have is negative 2 over negative 4. So alpha y equals negative 2 over negative 4. And I have 0.5. Math, enter, enter, will get me the fraction, which is 1/2. So positive 1/2, and then you put the x. Okay? So which one of these says that? Does this one have a positive 1/2 x? No. So let's cross it out. Does this one have a positive 1/2 x? Yes. Does it have a positive 5 for your b? No. And again, if you're stuck, this is mx, this is b. Okay, do we have a positive 1/2 x? Yes. Do we have a positive 5? Yes. So that is our answer. If not, does this one have a positive 1/2 x? No. It has a positive 5, but not a positive 1/2 x. Okay, if you have EAS, what I do is say what is A, what is B, what is C. A is 2, B is negative 4, C is negative 20. Okay, we know that M is opposite A over B. So the opposite of A is negative 2, B is negative 4. Okay, I just did that in my calculator. It was 1/2. Okay, our B value is C over B. So negative 20 over negative 4, which again I already did in my calculator for you, which would be positive 5. So y equals m, 1/2 x, plus b is plus 5. Okay, make sure you wrote down everything I wrote down. Turn this into the basket. Your test is tomorrow. Good luck. Email me if you have any questions. Have a great day. Bye.